To the jet, just like Mayweather. Remember me like Malcolm X or Martin Luther. Big Clem in the cut, and he saw the shoot. Might just see some niggas I served a couple splits. Might just see some niggas I served a couple bricks. I love my mama, she can't walk without a cane.
I'm gonna mind my business. See, that's what I need to do today. I told y'all. Having a bad day. Okay.
So tonight we're gonna go right into it. I'm not gonna spend too much on Mr. R. Kelly. First, I do want to.
Okay, so they were pastors in the church, and so it was essentially swept under the rug. This went on my entire adult life until I want to say a year ago when I finally found my voice and decided to go to therapy and try to get some help for myself. And so when I went to therapy, my therapist gave me an option. She said, either you report because it was a childhood offense, or I report.
Right.
And so I decided that I wanted to report myself. So I went to the police department December the 12th, 2017, and I reported Joseph Thomas for the offense that he committed.
Ooh, whole name.
From my childhood.
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
So
That's right.
I went through the process, and my detective told me that I would have to wear a wire. So at that point, I realized that I had to find some strength from somewhere because I knew.
When you were 20?
This was last year.
Oh.
So I had to find some strength from somewhere to prepare myself to go and address this person again, he and my mother. So I went to their home, I addressed them, and I had a whole team. I had about 25 police officers that were like staked out over the neighborhood.
Wow.
So
really?
I had a whole team.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, I'm sorry, how old are you now?
39.
39. Okay. Okay.
So I went through the process, and then I confronted him, and we went through the whole story from 9 until I was an adult. The last thing this man said to me was, "You weren't that innocent at 9." So at that point, I realized that I was doing the right thing. I needed to not only stand up for myself, but I needed to protect the children that were coming behind me. So the police officer told me that there was a very real possibility that the state's attorney would not pick up my case. Maybe a week later, he called me and said the state's attorney indeed wanted to pick up my case.
Amen. Amen.
Wow.
So December the 13th of 2018, we went to court. They convicted him of second and third degree sexual assault to a minor and child abuse.
Okay.
He is now a registered sex offender.
Okay.
And he is on probation for 5 years.
Okay.
So that's my story.
Okay. Do you feel justice was served?
Yes and no. Because for 25 years, he'll be a sex offender. That's about the amount of time that he took my youth from me.
Right.
And so you can never get away from that.
Right.
I don't care if you go apply for a job. I don't care what
They
you
will
do.
know.
Right.
That stigma is attached to him for the rest of his life.
Okay.
And it needs to be.
Okay.
So on that level, yes, no, in terms of, I feel like, yeah, he should have served some time.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that wasn't what the law called for.
Okay.
So I had to take what I could get.
Oh my God. Okay.
Which is sad. So let me give you the other piece to the story.
Okay.
So now I'm struggling because I found out that if an offense occurred in before the sexual registry, the Maryland Sexual Registry was created, that person would not have to register as a sex offender, even though they will be a sex offender.
Yeah.
So if a regular Joe Schmo goes to look up this person on the registry, their picture will not be there. The only way that you will know that this person is an offender is to go into Maryland Case Search, pull up their name, and see who's going to do that.
Oh, everybody now.
Well, I was about to say,
Well, yeah.
I know a lot of people who have it on their phone. It's in their favorites because
Right.
they're
Yeah.
constantly looking up people. It's
Yeah.
hard to distinguish who's who,
Right.
and who what you know.
I have seen neighborhoods light up like
Yeah.
Christmas trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah,
So,
you asked me for my number. I'm gonna look you up first.
Right, you should.
serious.
As parents, you should.
Yeah.
Would it be bad if I asked you, okay, when you were 9 and you were trying to tell, can you recall how you felt? Did you feel isolated, or you feel like your mom should have listened? Things of that nature.
So the funny thing is, my mother did listen. My mother never said no, it didn't happen.
Okay.
My mother always believed what I said. My mother didn't do anything. My mother is still with him.
What?
Yes.
What?
See, that's to me, I don't know, I would feel betrayed.
I don't, because at the end of the day, what I had to learn to do was take the title off. If you take the title of mother off away from her and deal with her according to what her actions are, then
You'll be
But
okay
no
with
child
what's
should
going
have to take that
I
title
agree.
away from their
But
parent.
all parents, all mothers are
Are not-
mothers.
Yeah.
I mean, I relate. I just
Yeah,
it's
so
just like, wow.
that's what I had to do. That was a part of my healing, because I was dealing with her, like you said, like, that's my mother. She should protect me. She should vindicate me. She should fight to the
She should
death
be
for
your
me.
first in
Yes.
line.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not. That's not the case. And so I had to learn to live with that hurt, that my mother was not going to protect. She was not going to come and save me. So at the end of the day, until I was 38 years old, I had to save myself.
How did that affect your relationship, like, as far as,
My
like, even to this day? Good grief, I couldn't even.
yes, my relationship with my mother was
still with this?
period.
What Christmas?
So let me
What
ask you a
Mother's Day?
question.
What Thanksgiving?
Exactly.
What bad?
Yeah,
They don't
this is
exist.
Well,
They
let
do
me.
not exist.
Okay, go ahead, because I got a question after those
I sit at a
holidays.
bus stop before I celebrate.
Because
Hey,
my
there
thing
you
is
go.
this one, and I'm sorry, Mika.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, but I will say this. By being in the funeral home industry, what these parents don't realize. Guess who got to end up changing a lot of y'all's diapers? Guess who got it? Guess who end up having to bury a lot of y'all? Your kids. And I don't think parents get that. You know what I'm saying? Life is only a big circle.
Yes.
Normal parents.
No, yeah.
I could say in my industry, I see old people who their kids don't care about them no more. The state is taking care of them. The state is burying them. You know, so it's some people, and I counsel a lot of people who have detachment issues, and they have detached from their parents. Some people who are like, if I see her on the street, she just is who she is.
Yes.
You know, and then you got some people who want that relationship with their parent, and their parent did so much hurt. Like, she feels that your mother, even though she didn't physically, your mother wasn't the one who was physically abusing you. There's some people who have been physically and harmed and thrown out constantly by their mom, and that's all they want is the love from their mother. So, you know, I think that it's the dynamics between what a person goes through to make them have a relationship with that person. Right. My mother didn't raise me. My mother nor my father raised me. I knew who they were. Right. I was raised by a little bit of everybody touched my life. But when they passed, I was the one who was called to take care of their funeral.
Yeah.
But so was my sister, and she did nothing.
Ho.
Taisha ain't do nothing, boy.
Oh, now my baby mama, huh? Don't think you ain't gonna talk about my baby mama. My face, nah, like I say, nah.
Oh, I gotta take.
Nah, that's cool. I mean, I'm just joking.
I'm just saying, no. To be real, to be honest, you know, there's some kids who can detach from their parents because of the stuff their parents did to them, and it's some that will be like, that's still my parent. You know what I mean? I ain't gotta mess with her. I ain't seen my mom. I ain't seen my mom in years. I got a call saying she was in the hospital. I feel like but I told you what I feel like my mom did, not to me, but my mom let me spend the night with a grown man at a young age, and he asked her. He asked me. I said, go ask my mother. Because I thought my mother would say no.
You be like, nigga,
I thought my mother was going to say no.
I don't even know why I put on lashes.
But I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. That didn't hurt me. You want to know why? Because I knew what I was doing. And when I went there, I told my mother, I knew I wasn't no virgin. I even told him that I wasn't a virgin, but my mother thought I was. But for her to say that she would, because I told you my mother was on drugs for a long time. She just did whatever kept us happy, whatever kept us in the house or around her. You know what I mean? Once I got of age, like.
So was that somebody you wanted to be with? Or was just
I was new to DC. I didn't know much. I just knew that I was a 15-year-old girl, and I've always been the littlest thing. I've always been the smallest one. And this grown man who made all the money on the block was interested in what?
And the one with the biggest mouth.
Go ahead.
Matter of fact, she talking about. See, I'm so close to her. That's why I'm really not saying that, because when she came to DC, she came to my neighborhood. Okay. And so I knew her at a young age. I knew her sister. Matter of fact, people don't. This is my oldest son's aunt.
Okay.
I have a baby with her sister, so I know everything she said. I know how mean her mother was, and I know all that.
So I say that to say that I knew what I was doing, though. So it's sometimes when you put yourself in certain situations, but I was hoping that my mother would say no, so I can go along with what she, like, okay, my mama got my back, and now it's some morals put in place.
Now, how did you feel when she said go instead of no?
What she said wasn't, you better not have sex with him. And I looked at her like
what you think he want me for?
Wait a minute. Right. So your mother, okay. For one, I just, and I'm putting myself in your mother's shoes, as I'm a mother. Mm-hmm. I cannot imagine any grown man coming. How old are you?
At the time, I was 15.
I can't even imagine a man coming to me right now asking for my child's hand in marriage, let alone.
But you in a sober mind.
Right, I was getting ready to say.
You know what I'm saying? You in a sober mind.
But
There's somebody my mother sold drugs for.
Hey, no, but again, sometimes it's not about drugs. Sometimes it feels like it's mothers that's on drugs that will probably not on drugs that will probably do the same thing, because some mothers got the mindset like if I say no, she probably gonna sneak and do it anyway.
Yeah, but still say no.
I understand what you're saying. Some of us think like that.
I don't got no mother in there.
See, I don't see.
Not in there right
See,
now.
I can't.
With certain things, with teenagers saying no is just gonna make
I can relate, but I can't, because my sisters was always school oriented. Like my sister Pootie, she loves school. My mother said she had to stay home. She'd bust out crying. Like she loved education. Like she was one of the few people in the neighborhood that loved everything. Now my sister Monette, she was a little fast, but she was fast because of me listening to go. So she wanted experience. So that's why. But I really never had that problem on my sister. Like all my sisters graduated from college, all of them except me.
Well, let me ask you this,
But
Bam.
oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
Because he's saying that you're familiar with this family, you know me.
Yeah.
So did you have to endure any type of emotional and I don't mean to okay.
She know I'm
okay. But even still,
But listen, when me and you was going out, you could go as you please.
Yeah,
I picked you up and I ain't ready back to like the 1 o'clock
But
in the
I
morning.
wasn't home.
Huh?
I snuck and did that.
How old was you?
But I spent the night over your house.
And how old was you?
You wasn't at my house.
How old was you,
And
Bam?
how was you, Bam?
I was. Hold on.
No.
Okay, that's
How old was you, Bam?
I was 19, probably 20.
Okay.
Wait, Shannon.
So what are we saying about? Come on now.
Right,
He was
and
a
that's
grown
why I
man.
said
You said how old? You were how old?
probably 19 going on 20.
You were an adult.
He was
You were
right.
an
Right,
adult.
right, and guess what?
Right.
And
Excuse
guess,
me, I met
and guess
him
what?
in June. I turned 17 in
Don't make a
August.
difference. It don't make a difference.
No, what this is what I'm saying though.
He
Look, I'm gonna keep it
didn't
gangster
turn
with
20.
you.
Some
He didn't
parents,
turn 20
Hey,
until
listen.
the
some
next
parents
year.
have a
Hey,
rule
listen,
that
let
you
me-
can
Nah,
let me
it's
say
a
that.
three
No,
year
no,
difference
let me
for
say this.
statutory rape and murder.
Hey, let me say.
Ain't nobody
But
said
it's a-
rape.
Hey, listen.
How
Let
is
me
it
say
The
this
older
though.
man taking advantage of
And
the
when
younger
she
girl.
first said,
How?
See, you was impressionable.
No, statutory rape is the age limit, not
Yeah.
the actual violent
Act of it.
you
It's
and
just
Right.
an age
Yeah.
limit.
No, that's why.
but listen, this is what I'm saying though.
It was
When I was going out with
It's just the
her,
term.
It's a term.
It's just
and I told her, I said the same
No.
thing. I said people were saying, such thing about Polo. He was messing with you. I said people could say the same thing when I was messing with you.
No, you can't.
I didn't even ask your age.
Probably didn't.
I know I
And
did.
you
Where
was
did you?
16.
Okay,
I
where
thought
did you
you
meet
grown.
her at?
The Unifest.
I think I was up there with
That
back
was
then.
outside.
you have young
That was
ladies
outside,
that-
You
right?
have young ladies
Wasn't-
that
it
don't
wasn't
look
no
their
age limit
age,
to
and
get
you
the
gotta
youth.
ask.
That was
you don't
outside
have
of
to
it.
Yeah,
ask.
but I think now
You know.
a precedent.
But
has
she
been
looked grown.
set
If you look
where
at Shannon,
you
Yeah.
need to ask.
Especially with the
You
Me
need
Too
to make
movement,
sure.
you
Yes,
got
absolutely.
men now. We gotta protect ourselves.
Yes.
You
I
gotta
think
have
years
consent
ago,
forms in your car.
It was an unspoken language where you didn't have to ask, and young ladies felt like, okay,
Well-
maybe I can date up. But I think now, going forward, there needs to be a precedent that's set where we protect our young girls. Whether she's 16 and he's 20, essentially that's illegal. And so we need to make sure
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
y'all
that also-
jumping
but
down
I
my
also
like
think
I'm
that
not.
there needs to be a clear determination on
Don't even
what
do
is
that.
too old for what
Yes.
age.
No, girl, please.
If you are X amount of years old,
I knew
what's
more.
too old for
He
you?
was about
Right.
that next
If
year.
you are a male,
nah, I
what's
ain't
too
rocking.
young for you?
but I didn't ask, and I said people make those. People around make those mistakes. That's why I understand. It's like people do that every day.
But I'm about
I
to
know
go
a lot of
there.
people.
People do it.
I ain't
People do it
gonna say
unknowingly.
You
No, I
touched
know a
on
lot of
Until they
people.
decide to ask that
I
question.
know a lot of people that was in bands and stuff, like older niggas. I'm talking about niggas from RE picking up girls from McFarland Junior High
Put the
School.
band out.
But I ain't gonna scream on them.
Okay. Well, wait a minute. Before you go there, you touched on something that I was waiting on.
What?
You said I spent the night at your house and everything. Well, you wasn't at my house. We was at my best friend's house. Let's get that.
Right,
But when
so
I'm
what-
going at hold it, my next thing is enablers.
I got the draw.
Because there was an adult there.
It's like,
There
Right.
was an adult at the house.
Right. Right.
There
That
was an
should've
adult that
said
allowed
something.
him to
Yeah,
spend the
should've
night.
Yes,
something.
the adult
That-
should have stopped
you
that
see what I'm
behavior.
saying? So-
Absolutely.
Well, no
That-
dog gonna say, no, I was selling weed back then. I had the best
She didn't
book.
smoke.
I don't care what was going on.
But what
It
I'm
should've been
saying
stopped,
is-
period.
What-
Stacey did.
No, she didn't.
Look, y'all just putting people out there.
He named. Listen, and that's what I said. One thing I'm not going to do tonight. I'm
Hey, listen.
not.
Yeah, because I don't want to make it about
names.
y'all.
Yes, I don't
get back
want
to
to
the
make it
topic.
about
I'm just
me.
saying, people do that. People do that every day and be a part. See, when I was growing up back when I was growing up, yeah, girls was having sex, but they wasn't curring themselves in a ratchet way like the girls of the day do. I see girls of the day and they just out there with. I mean, they post on Facebook with thongs and all this stuff on.
But then this is what
it came from somewhere. Everything
you gotta
has
realize
been a precedent that's been set though by entertainers.
I'm gonna tell you something.
People that
Everybody
are artists,
who knows
people that are exposed in the public eye that oh I want to be like him or I want to be like her. Oh she's putting her ass out there, so that works.
But what I'm saying,
but hold on, back with that, Chop. What you said is what you gotta realize is. The generation we dealing with now, we're dealing with the crack babies.
Thank
now.
you.
That's why they're out there rapping because they never had strong training or parenting.
I was crazy. The kids that's right now are the two crack babies that had babies. That's the action. So listen, but you got to understand that we're in a whole different era where certain things are glorified that wasn't glorified when we was coming up. It was gay people all the time, but we never saw it. It was never exposed to us. I noticed something. I came from a world where I was in the light, and now I'm trying to change. I get more attention and more from back then. You know what I'm saying? Than now. And I don't mind. I don't care. It just shows me what people are more interested in. That breaks my heart.
You get more attention back then than you did now?
Yeah.
Of course. Look how you used to dress.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's what she's saying.
That's what
she's saying.
I'm
but now that she's changing she can't get that support. That's what she's saying.
So I don't get
you may be a mother. I don't know, but you might be a mom too. You know,
I've been a mother. I got 6 children.
Okay, hey, but this is. I'm gonna tell you one thing. Always had the mindset.
I had my kids at a young age. I've always been.
Always had the mindset of this when I meet a female. I never rush for sex because if I'm into you, sooner or later it's gonna happen. Like me, man, we can just human. It's just eventually it's gonna happen. If I'm into you and you into me, eventually it's gonna happen.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
That brings me to a point with you. How has that made you feeling about sex? How is your feeling
That's
about
where I was
towards
going
sex?
to go.
Yeah. When I was younger, I struggled with my sexuality. I struggled with intimacy because for me to open up and be vulnerable, that was taboo.
Okay.
Absolutely do not do that. Because I was taught at an early age you don't do that.
You keep it in.
Right.
Yeah.
So as I got older, and I want to say in my late 30s, that's when I learned how to love properly and how to be intimate properly, because I had to heal from the inside out first. Right. I had to deal with that broken child in me who felt like it was dirty and nasty to be intimate.
Okay. Can I ask you a question? Yeah. Okay, so, because I was talking to somebody about a case that's going on now. Okay. Is this something from like a memory, like maybe a cologne he wear or something that that triggers you sometimes? Like you might walk past a guy that wear the same cologne that he used to wear, or does something do that? Like that's part of being traumatized. So do that give a reaction? Do you get a reaction?
There's always triggers, and it's not one trigger, it's many triggers for survivors. So I'll give you an example. He used to take a chair out of the house and go sit it up against the bathroom window outside so that he could see me when I got out the bath. And so he had gotten so bold and brazen that he left the chair. He left the chair there. And so I had run outside, and I was like, Mom, like, this is what I've been telling you. I could hear something outside, but I couldn't see because it was dark. And so when I saw the chair left there, I'm like, oh, my God, like, she could see now. She going to have to do something. Yeah. She saw that damn chair and was like, okay, I'm going to talk to him about it.
Question B.
So let me finish. So essentially what ends up happening is that's a trigger for me. I can't take a shower in the dark. I mean, I can't take a shower in the light. It has to be completely dark so I can know that nobody's can see watching me. Another trigger for me is Jergens lotion. He used to use Jergens to jerk off.
That's what I'm saying. So I can't smell
Jergens. It makes me sick to my stomach.
Damn. Like you remember the
yes.
Specifics.
Yes.
Like,
that's what I was.
You don't ever forget it. You never forget. You're always triggered. I didn't watch the R. Kelly story because I didn't want to be triggered. Right. I knew for me that it was going to be a trigger and it was going to take me back to a place that I was going to have to fight to get out of, and I didn't want to do that.
With that being said, you're still getting therapy?
Yes.
Okay.
I still go to therapy.
All right, I was gonna
for the rest of your life, you're gonna have triggers. I don't care how much therapy you get. It's always gonna be something that trigger you. It might not take you as long to get out of a triggered place once you start going to therapy. Because now I can tell myself when I take a bath, okay, Tiffany, there's nobody outside looking at you.
Because you've been taught coping skills.
Yes. So you just have to talk yourself down. Whereas when I was a kid, I would be petrified to do those things. Now I'm not petrified anymore. Like when I wake up at night, I don't feel like, even if I feel like somebody's standing at my bed or pulling me, I can talk myself down. But I still wake up and my heart is racing. As a normal person, when you wake up and your heart is racing, can you go back to sleep? No. It takes you a minute. So I still have to go through that from time to time. So I avoid things that are going to trigger me, like the R. Kelly story.
Right. Have you forgiven your mother?
Oh, no. And I'm just being honest. My mother, for me, is worse than him.
Wow.
Because she allowed it.
She condoned it.
She allowed it.
She accepted it.
And she
still knew. And she still. My mother said right there when he said, "You were 9, but you're not that innocent." I have a child.
But I was telling you
I can't imagine somebody saying that in the presence of me about my child, and it could have been something small. I promise you, I would have been in jail.
Right. And saying that you have a child now?
Yes.
Okay. No grandma time, no none of that.
Oh yes, my son loves them.
What?
You allow him to go over?
You better than
Remember,
me,
I was young.
I'll be like,
I had my son at
your
19.
grandparents died in a fire.
Have you? But do you question
son
him?
knows.
Do you question him when you go over there? Like, don't lie to me. Like,
no.
Oh yeah, when he was young. So when my son was young, I didn't let him go until he could talk.
Okay.
And then I would ask him, like, when he would come back, like, did anything happen? So the thing is, my mother's husband is a barber, so he is not home majority of the time. So my mother would spend a lot of time with him.
Good.
My son adores my mother, and he even sees this man. That was the one thing that I wrote about. He calls him Papa. That is a hard thing for me to swallow. My father died when I was 12. So at the end of the day, that was the only family that I knew. I didn't know any other family. So it took me until I was 30 to be able to stand on my own 2 feet and say, no, I'm not going to sacrifice myself anymore. It's time for you to stand. Right. So that was when I had to realize that means you're going to lose your whole family.
Did you have a support system that knew about what happened, and like friends, you know what I'm saying, that you didn't feel comfortable sometimes being at home, but you could go over their house or something?
Yes, I had aunts. I had not real aunts, but like aunts that I adopted. Like one particular aunt, and I'll never forget. She was really close to my mother.
Sometimes really it's good to just get out of
the situation. So she lived like, a little couple of doors down from us, and I would go and visit with her. Yeah. But one thing for sure is when I told her what happened, she cut my mother off. My mother still does not know to this day
why they cut. She cut her
off. She stood. She still does not know why she stood, but she did.
Okay, so do you know anybody from your real father's side of the family?
Yes, my whole family.
Okay, from your real
so
father.
They know.
So have you told them? And
well, I wasn't close with them because he stopped that relationship.
Right.
So he was very controlling. I'm your father. My mother let it. You know.
You have to isolate.
So
he isolated us.
You have to isolate too.
So I can imagine your mom was one of those moms that were like, go tell your dad. Like she would address him as your dad.
I'll give you an example. Even as an adult, I tried to have a relationship with my mother outside of him.
Yeah.
So as I got older, I tried to separate the two, right? So I would say, Mom, I'm going to come get you on Saturday. We're going to go hang out. You know what she would tell me? Call your father and ask him, can I go?
Why?
Because she's included. So
I'm not.
Men who.
So we just won't go.
You ever had a heart-to-heart with your mother? Like,
absolutely.
Why in the head?
I wrote my mother's letters. I've sat down and talked to my mother face-to-face. I've had plenty of heart-to-hearts with my mother. At the end of the day, I have to realize my mother is a victim herself. She's broken herself. My mother had tried to kill herself 8 times. She was a drug addict. She was alcoholic. I was her mother. I was the parent. I remember driving her home at 9 years old because she was so intoxicated that she couldn't make it.
At 9?
At 9. So I was essentially the parent. I always was. Still now, I'm forced to make adult decisions.
So do you think that man looked at you like you looked at your mother like your child at times? Do you think that man in his sick mind looked at you like you were supposed to play the role of your mother?
Maybe.
Because by you telling me you're 9 years old driving your mother home.
This is before he came into her life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So she was already broken
before
my mother
he even came.
Okay.
But even with, I'm sorry, but I just keep, because I never was put in a situation like that, but what she's talking about brings to mind like how the Precious story was, where when she explained why she did what she did, she said, because this is what's going to keep my man. You know what I mean? And it's not like I was taking my daughter in the room. I just had to turn a blind eye to it, because if I let him stop, then he gonna leave, and who else gonna want me? You know.
So family members have told me that my mother, when I came on my story, they said that my mother told them when I was young that she knew that he was leaving their bed, going into my room at night, and she would just lay there and pray that he wouldn't do anything to it. Now I don't know that that's the truth, but this is what family members. At the end of the day, Yeah, I mean,
it's
we
something
could ask
rising
her.
up in me. That's make it.
But this is what I think. I'm listening to you.
Some things that's not.
I mean, I'm listening to your story and I'm putting myself
I'm talking about,
in
I'm
your
about
shoes.
to take these lashes off. Y'all don't understand.
You can't because you're a man.
Listen, no, I'm thinking.
No,
I can think because I know. Listen, I know a lot of people, kids and parents that got killed by the boyfriend. I think women need to start evaluating these men when they meet them. Don't move them in so quick. Don't get so attached so quick.
Well,
that's what it all comes down to. You got to start evaluating men.
And look at the red flags.
I counsel a
Or
grown
let's
man.
take it a step further. Stop allowing these men to make you make life and death decisions that involve your children, where you're saying, okay, I got to pay my rent, but I'm going to put my kid aside. Or I got to, feed my kids, but he could do this to my children because I need to make a way.
I think
Get
mothers
out here. I
in
don't care if you
general
have to work 5 jobs.
But
Get
I think
out here
mothers
and
in
provide for
general
yourself.
don't have the strength that some mothers in general don't have the strength that is needed. I counsel a grown man who has a sex addiction problem. To me, I couldn't believe that. I was like, you're married, you know what I'm saying? You got a beautiful wife, but you just do whatever. And he told me it's a condition he got. So we try to figure out where it came from. As a kid, he was getting molested by his babysitters. He would tell his mother, and she didn't believe him. And he said when he told, friends at school, that's when it stopped. But by then he was a teenager. Right. So imagine being 4 or 5 years old and someone's constantly playing with your penis. So, and that's a good feeling now. After a while, it becomes good. So now that's all he wants to do is make his penis feel good. So and his wife understands and she supports him, but she just hopes she doesn't ever find out about the cheating and stuff. That's something he feels he can't control.
So even though you have a wife that
no, but I think forget the whole cheating thing, because for me, I don't want him to focus on that.
No,
I want him
making my penis feel
good. Yeah, but it's because
as
a kid,
regardless if you're married or not, that
so for me as a kid, my mother always said, "Speak your mind." I remember being 3, and I saw. So for me, had that instilled in me, so that's why can't nobody ever quiet me, because that's what I know, to speak my mind. Ain't nobody ever touched me ever. Ain't nobody. So to me, that if they did, that would have been probably, I wouldn't say normal, but it probably would have made my mind think differently about being touched.
Mm-hmm. So essentially, until he gets to the bottom of that broken child piece in him,
right?
That addiction.
But he doesn't want to. It feels good. See, for you, it didn't feel good, and the outcome of it didn't feel good. For him, the outcome of everything for him feels good. He feels like either way he wins. Even in his brokenness, he still wins because he feels good.
Now, with someone like that, can they be fixed?
I don't know. They can be prayed over.
My man Pick Shooter said about the women, man, very intelligent guy. Shout out to my man Pick Shooter, great picture man in DMV. He said a lot of women go through that, but fall so quick for a man mentally and sexually with a dude that putting kids. Now I know a girl that Sonia Johnson. She passed away, but her daughter Sade, she met this man. They was together for like 2 months. Went to work. She moved the dude in so quick. He was in 2 months. Washed her kid. He set the bathtub, scalding hot water. Girl died at 6 months, years old in Virginia, and I never forget it.
No years.
No, the girl was 6 months.
You said 6 months, years old.
But he was in the heat of the moment.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, people need to. Man, I know so many women.
I got so many
even guilty, even guys. I done messed with women and she'd invite me over her house and let me stay weeks at a time. Like What is wrong
Were
with
her
you?
kids there?
What for her kids there? Some women so
Did you ever ask
women
somebody,
so
do you
pressed
ever
for love.
say anything?
And
Do you
that's
ever
why
say
we
anything
stopped
as a
talking.
man?
He was
as a
always
man.
He was always. That's why we stopped talking.
No,
No,
I
that wasn't.
remember.
I was staying with my mother at that time.
No, you
Don't
wasn't.
talk
I
about that. Come
was.
on, y'all.
I was just out and about.
But no,
Excuse me. Yes,
So I have a
tonight.
question for men. I have a question for the men.
Yes, tonight.
Listen, I have a question for the men.
No, I just wanted
If you
to just get
ever
some laughter real quick, 'cause
saw
I
or
wanna
got
cry.
word of someone who they not particularly in your family or whatever, but got word of a young person being
Hey, Ty.
something done to them.
In my case, it was it's my oldest daughter.
Oh, okay.
So
Thank God I ain't got
How long you
to
been home?
I'm going to jail.
well, it was okay. It was going on from the age of, I believe, 8 through 10.
Okay.
And it was her older adopted brother that was doing it. He was about 11, 12 at the time.
Okay.
So 2 kids.
Foster home failed to, the foster home he came from failed to disclose the fact that he had issues like that before.
What?
So
Yes, they
he
do it all the
was
time.
like,
Because you won't want them if
You
do.
damn right.
Right.
so how I found out is I got a call from my mother who was she lives out in Atlanta.
No one can hear. This ain't no one can hear him.
Oh,
I'm sorry, guys.
If they tune in the app, they can hear. It's set to tune on app, but of course they probably can't hear on live.
Okay.
well, long story short.
Now
it
we can
was-
hear.
Okay, yeah.
There you go. I can hear now. Okay.
It was my child, and that's why I asked you a lot of questions earlier about that, because I want to. We don't talk about. She's 21 now.
Okay.
We don't talk about it, but we have our relationship through it. You understand? Like,
Right.
I want her to know that it's all right. It's
Okay.
It's okay. She has a boyfriend. She's healthy. She works. Everything's
Okay.
cool.
Is she getting therapy? Has she been through therapy?
She's been through therapy, but she's 21.
Typical
She's just trying to get on with her life and work and
Right.
get
Okay.
money and go on trips and stuff.
Well, I'm gonna give you my card before I go. And for those out there who who ever been in a situation like this, but I want to definitely give him this because he definitely need to know about.
Well,
Okay.
I'm a dad, and I'm a dad, because I choose if I have a child, I'm there. I'm gonna raise my kids. I want to be there,
Okay.
and I hover. I'm a helicopter.
Okay.
So when that happened, it was like, yeah, really,
How you find out? Like,
my
I want
mom-
to know everything. I be asking specifics.
My mother called me and was like, "Sit down," okay,
Ooh.
and basically told me that the baby mother, right? What's going on? The baby mother didn't want me to know or didn't want to tell me. My mom was like, "Well, you got 2 choices. You could tell them or I'm gonna tell them." So I found out, and I got temporary emergency custody of her.
How long had it been going on?
From, I want to say about 1.5 years.
Okay. And at what age?
He was tying her down to the bed. I don't. But and I could not go to court when it happened and everything came out, because she tried to tell too. Nobody, really.
They ignored it.
She's 9, 8, 9, 10.
Right.
But then when the stories became more consistent,
Right.
and persistent,
Right.
they had to take notice. And for me, it was.
As a man.
Thank God I don't have no.
So
my question,
I'll be in jail.
when it came to and you found out, do sometimes you feel like you failed her as a dad, like you should have been there as that protector?
Okay, so it goes a little deeper because it was the mom was one of them. I don't want you in her life, but then I'm gonna tell all my friends you ain't there. Type.
Okay.
Amen. Who's going through that right now?
I mean,
Amen.
that's a whole nother chop. That's a whole child support, everything topic.
Yeah,
but
No, I'm going through that with my son. I love my son.
when I found, I kind of assumed something was going on one time. I had given her a spanking for an interaction she had with a young man, a little boy her age at that time, and he was on top of her. And I was like, as a dad, I went and did my dad thing when I spanked her with the belt on bare skin. She did not blink, flinch, cry, or nothing. She just looked at me Like that Denzel scene from Glory. I wasn't whooping her like that, but I mean, I'm just. But on bare skin as a child, you know, they
my father used to call it the tippy toe dance.
So nothing happened, and my homeboy was like, dog, he started crying. He was like, yo, I ain't never seen no kid not react like that. And I called her mom, and then I guess that stemmed them starting to listen. That made them start listening, and I guess it was like that's when I found out like a couple of months later after that. And when the judge gave her back, I thought it was open and shut. I'm thinking I got custody of my daughter now. I'm rocking. You know, I'm married at the time. I got my wife, my wife, 2 kids. They good in school. You know, I can handle bringing my daughter on. That's no problem. I want that anyway. And the judge gave her back. I had a pending assault charge going upside some dude's head, and the judge gave her back
because of
the parents because of that. And then the more ironic issue is that the charges got dropped from the assault charge, you know. And then from the age of 10 to 17, I didn't see my daughter.
Wow. What?
My daughter's mother's best friend knew that my daughter had a Facebook page. And that's how I reestablished contact. I found out my daughter was going to high school right up the street from my house.
Wow.
And ever since then, you know, ever since I reestablished contact, you know, and went to her graduation and stuff like that, it's like she's always at my house, you know.
Right, that's good.
You know what I'm saying? I had to let her, you know, like I did not want you. You know, I wanted you.
Yeah.
I wanted you. I did not want to abandon you. That was, you know, when I was telling you when they first went down, you know, I went to get emergency custody. I set up the custody stuff and, you know, try to get her out of that situation so she don't have to be in that house, because it happened at Granddaddy's house. He was basically the primary caregiver because Mom wanted to do her thing. So she always threw her off on her parents. So, you know, him being an older man, he got his shows, he watching TV downstairs thinking the kids upstairs, and that's what they were doing. So I'm like, that's neglect. I don't want to keep my daughter in that situation. If anything, just so she don't have to relive that every time she walks in that house.
Right.
And
that's a trigger.
That's a trigger.
And she told
my daughter, I'm a grandfather for my
perspective.
stepkids. My daughter don't want no kids yet. You know, she just want to.
How old is she now?
She's 21.
She's 21 now.
Sure, she's good, but she just, you know.
Did she go through therapy? No therapy.
I heard. I guess that's.
You know what I mean?
I understand what you're going through. I'm going there with my son, but as a father, see, I was way from my son for 60 days. You talking about 7 years, and I was going through it. I mean,
I became my alcoholic
son, and it's crazy.
I started drinking heavy, bro.
I mean, the only thing is,
I stopped drinking 5 years ago.
Because you don't know
I'm
what
43.
is going on. You knew that you left
I still
her
don't
in a
understand
bad
it.
situation, and then now to not
how do
be able
you?
to
I understand
about it. That would
like, how do you?
It was to the point where me and my mom, we close, and my mom was like, you know, you, as much as I hate to say it, you gotta let that go because it's gonna kill you. So she's like, when you're, it was hard because it's my daughter.
Crises, you can't.
That's how.
That's what
but then when there's nobody answering phones, no addresses, no nothing, you don't have
anybody's house.
Hey, but I was saying like this would.
Never.
I understand, and I don't know the best way to deal with it. Like my baby mother only called me for like money. Okay, we give her money, but she claimed that she don't have no money. But somebody called me and said, "Yo, baby mother down here buying tickets to the what band show." No bull, no real.
I went through that too.
Like, what do you do as a father?
Why?
But see, only thing with my son, he's only 9 years old, but he knows that I love the hell out of him. He knows that I do anything for him. But what do you do when you fight so hard for your kids, but the other parent is pushing it away? Oh, your daddy ain't nothing. Your daddy do this. Your daddy do that. The
custody and child support system in the state needs to be revamped. It has not been revamped in over 60 years. So those laws are out of date. You know, I'm a driver. I drive trucks. You know, they go after my license every time I have a missed payment for child support.
So then you can't work with no license. So what's supposed to happen?
I mean, just stupid. You know, just things. You can't reinstate your license. You can't do a lot of things. You can't reinstate your. You know, it's a lot. Maryland Patty, but they need to revise these laws. Right. But as far as, and it's geared towards the mom. I hate to say it, with a room full of moms. But
okay.
All right, we gotta get ready to go to break.
Yeah, we definitely want to go to break. We will be back in about 3 minutes. We're going to go to break. It's a lot of heavy hearts in here right now.
And everybody on live saying this is a great show, great comment. Shout out to my man Pete.
Thank you, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. And
Thank
you
you
all my viewers
for tuning in.
I'm forever a legend, nigga. That's if I die or if I live. Boy, my city know exactly what I did. Boy, I'm forever a legend. All them late nights on the block, holding rocks, hoping 12 don't kick the spot. Boy, I'm forever a legend. And I don't do it for the gram, it's for the fam. Trying to feed me and my mans. Boy, I'm forever a legend. All this hard work really pays off. I don't mean drop no days off. I'm forever a legend. What you think I do it for? Early morning, late nights, trapping out the corner store. Naughty boy lifestyle, still pull a kick, door 640 to the casket drop. Real to switch up, Bam 640. I ain't gotta touch you for you to get fucked up. Forever DC legend, paranoid, sleeping with my weapon. Shit gets real in a matter of seconds. Rest in peace, dread. Prices on my head. I know it's some fuck niggas that wanna see me dead. God's plans though, I ain't never scared. Cold of these streets, trying to stay on my feet. Niggas talking reckless, like shit sweet. When I'm dead and gone, my city gon' remember me forever. Legendary, gave you all I had in me. Moving in silence, yeah, I know the feds list. Between me and you, got my bitch whipping. Forever a legend, nigga. That's if I die or if I live. Boy, my city know exactly what I did. Boy, I'm forever a legend. All them late nights on the block, holding rocks, hoping 12 don't kick the spot. Boy, I'm forever a legend. And I don't do it for the gram, it's for the fam. Trying to feed me and my mans. Boy, I'm forever a legend. All this hard work really pays off. I don't mean drop no days off. I'm forever a legend. They know I started in the trap, whipping white in the kitchen, serving packs. Boy, I'm forever a legend. And I'm in the streets coolin', I'm reppin' my set, Southside with a weapon. Nigga, don't disrespect it. Who gon' check it? Your baby mother favorite trapper, why she keep on texting? Say them boys want smoke, I make my young boys get them. My hollow tips hit your body cause you keep on flexing. Niggas don't want no smoke for real until they get their ass smoked for real. They keep on laughing and playing until the joke is real. We on a mission to get it, hitting whoever ain't with us on the way to the chicken. With persistent precision, nigga. That's if I die or if I live. Boy, my city know exactly what I did. Boy, I'm forever a legend. All them late nights on the block, holding rocks, hoping 12 don't kick the spot. Boy, I'm forever a legend. And I don't do it for the gram, it's for the fam. Trying to feed me and my mans. Boy, I'm forever a legend. All this hard work really pays off. I don't mean drop no days off. I'm forever a legend.
Niggas say so much, all I can do is laugh. All I do is get cash by serving good gas. You can pass if you want, but I'm forever a legend. Hang with ex-convicts, drug dealers, and them fellas. Hit your melon if you wellin', that's just the city in me. I'm from uptown, but I make my name in Northeast. I stay low-key, unless you want some OZs, cause I'm a master grind, forever legend. Bam 640.
Forever a legend, nigga. That's if I die or if I live. Boy, my city know exactly what I did. Boy, I'm forever a legend. All them late nights on the block, holding rocks, hoping 12 don't kick the spot. Boy, I'm forever a legend. And I don't do it for the gram, it's for the fam. Trying to feed me and my mans. Boy, I'm forever a legend. All this hard work really pays off. I don't mean drop no days off. I'm forever a legend.
I put my work in on that block. I hit them pills
are back. We are back. We are back. This is such a tough topic, but an excellent show. We're just going to go right back into where we were. Tiffany, Gerard, we are now joined with Pastor Q.
Hey.
What's happening?
What's happening?
Hello, Pastor Q. Thank you for coming through.
Oh, thank y'all for having me.
Thank you
always.
so much.
Always.
We still have Pandora over there.
Hey, you know I'm here.
Meek, mic's on.
Mics
all
are
right,
on.
All right.
Part 2 of this thing.
Yes. So we are talking about pedophilia. In pedophilia.
In the black community.
In the black community.
Mm-hmm.
And this, you know what's crazy? You hear about, when we were slaves and how the white man used to, rape us. White man. I ain't calling no man master but God.
Amen.
True that.
Sorry.
No.
But, you hear about how they used to rape us. And, and just do all these things. And I think the saddest thing is, it is really big in our community. I mean, and amongst our babies, y'all, our kids. So I don't know the verbiage. I don't know what the triggers. I don't know what to look for. I'm going to let them take over as they were doing. They was doing
It's with communication because black women are like, y'all are the most undervalued women on earth.
Absolutely.
So the part of R. Kelly's genius when in his action was he was doing it to black girls.
Okay, well, real quick, we want to do a brief recap.
You know what? You made there were no white women.
No, if there was a white girl involved, he'd have been in jail years ago.
Martine, no, she was Latin. She was Spanish.
No, but either way, she's still a minority.
She's a minority.
She's still a minority.
But I want to do a recap real quick we got some new viewers. Gerard, just real quick, can you just go down your story real quick, to bring it up?
Just who you are and what brought you here.
And, just real quick, so everyone could be like, well, what's going on, but...
I'm my dad, and I just shared a story that happened to one of my children.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have Tiffany. Real quick recap.
I'm a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. I was abused from 9 until I was in my 20s. And I recently came out and was able to get justice against my victimizer and took him to court. And he is now a registered sex offender. And he is not able to have contact with children for the next 5 years, on probation for 10 years. And so I was finally able to get justice, and my voice was finally able to be heard.
Amen.
That's still not enough.
It's still not enough, right?
Okay, so you guys mentioned something, I don't know.
Compartmentalizing.
Yes, compartmentalizing.
Yes, as survivors.
Pain,
so he was asking me about his daughter. He was saying that a lot of times she scares herself because if she gets into situations, she'll black out. Anger. And so I was telling him the term for that is called compartmentalizing. So what survivors do is in order to cope with what we have to go through in terms of the abuse, we compartmentalize things in order to be able to get out of it. And so things that are very traumatic, we push them down and make them less traumatic. So we essentially won't flinch. Like he was saying, he was spanking his daughter with a belt on her bare skin and she didn't move. That's compartmentalized. As a child, though, that's a sign for a parent that something is wrong.
Yeah, because I was on the phone immediately after
that.
Yes,
as an adult, I compartmentalize. So things that would normally send a person over the edge, I would be like, oh no, it's no issue.
Really?
And I would blink back. Yes.
So basically sitting on your feelings.
Yes.
Right.
Well,
no, not sitting on them. You push them down.
Yeah,
they don't exist.
it's pushing your feelings down
Yes.
crack. Like I said, leaving your body. You
essentially
leave your
detach.
body.
You detach from that situation so that you can continue to go on. Because if you allow yourself to sit in that moment, you'll die. So, and I don't mean, some people physically die, but if you're not a type of person that will kill yourself, you might cut. You might, consume alcohol. You might turn to drugs, or you compartmentalize and then you detach from that situation and you move on. So you never really deal with anything. Right. And so that's how I was able to cope for all my adult life until I was in my late 30s, because I compartmentalized everything. I just pushed it down until I got to a place where, guess what? You couldn't stuff anymore.
Oh, what made you feel that way? Was it something that triggered it? That you were like, okay, it's enough. This is now enough. Or you were just sitting, reflecting on it. Like, How did you get to the point where you were like, I'm brave enough to actually do something and not stop talking about this until someone does something?
I think I just got to a place where I got tired of being broken. I got tired of not feeling. I got tired of hurting people around me and seeing people cry and react to things that I had no feeling to it. I didn't care.
Okay.
And so I essentially started to feel like something is wrong with you. You need to get help. And so that was what started me down the road when I went to therapy, and I started that process of peeling the layers, because essentially it is a layer for survivors. You might peel back one layer and be like, okay, I conquered that. And then you might hear something else, and then it'll bring us something for you, and you realize, oh, I didn't conquer that. And I had to go and peel back another layer.
Did it make you more aggressive in your relationships? Even even your intimate or spousal relationships? Like, has it made you combative or
be in control? Want to be in
control?
You know, what can you say? Yeah, but what can you say as a result of that is the negative aspect of your relationship?
I didn't care about anybody's feelings or emotion.
I thought that just happened when you get older. You just become an asshole. I mean,
no, just in a bad place. Like I would cheat. I would. It didn't matter, and I would tell him I was cheating. No, I wasn't addicted to sex.
But loyalty was an issue.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
For me, I was super loyal to people that I shouldn't have been loyal to.
That's what, okay.
And that's what I looked from loyalty.
With my daughter, I observed a lot, and it was like the loyalty.
Yes.
She was loyal to bad individuals, like people that didn't have good intents,
right.
And I had to you don't have to feed that. Right. You can ignore that and let them die off and cut it off, and you don't have to deal with them type of people.
Right.
Because of what you went through, you can separate. You're stronger in a sense because now you can use your compartmentalization to handle your relationships in life. So now you can put people in these categories, and you can detach yourself from people without emotion. So you can use that for your benefit.
Not good. So she may need to be taught how to compartmentalize. Which people to
compartmentalize. To compartmentalize. To put people in boxes that they need to be in.
Okay, now we have Pastor Q here. Pastor Q.
Yeah.
Help me, because a pastor and pedophilia, and I mean it being in a church, is that?
It's common.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, pastors is just a man who's just taking a calling, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have his issues with him. You can be saved and sanctified, leading people and still have an unclean spirit. My thing is, believe it or not, I mean, just because you take a calling doesn't mean you become clean when you take a calling. I think that becomes the problem, that people think that once I take a calling, I become clean. Some of us pastors and preachers are the worst people on the planet.
Ooh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's why, I take on the humility, because, just because we're up there in the forefront, you look at people like in the Bible, like look at King David.
Yeah.
King David slept with a man, wife killed him, and these are people in the Bible. The people in the Bible are people who were after God's heart and was doing these things. So you look in the Catholic Church is big. I mean, just because you're a pastor, that doesn't mean that you're above sin and you're without sin.
No, but they have an authority.
But how common is it in the African American churches?
I mean, it's common in all churches.
I hear about the Catholic churches.
You have to think about it too.
It stops at the Catholic Church.
Right.
It's different. It's different levels.
The deacons are messing with,
most people want to be pastors because they want authority. They want power. And then you have people who are weak-minded, given to people that have power. They trust what you say.
My God.
And then you have people that worship the pastors and worship the church instead of worshiping God.
Let me ask you this. Are the pastors able to tell if another pastor, I mean, can you, is it like?
Let me tell you something. Each denomination has to keep the representation that they have, that they are of God. So, if there's a pastor in there that's doing ungodly stuff, and all they do is move them to another church in another state, because they got to keep it. These are organizations. Each church is an organization. It's a business.
Sad.
Okay? So, if you don't like the business that you're going to, find a new business. I found me a new church.
Well,
I mean, she's right. I mean, but that's when your church is combined with other churches. Right. But You know, when you're doing your own thing, you know, I understand what she's saying. Like, I think you were saying something about with your testimony, they was like pray it away.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Pray it away, fast.
You read what you
How did the church? How
you
did the
don't
church
pray
treat
it away.
him? After the fact.
So the first time when I
sin is
told,
greater than
they
another.
basically nobody knew except for the pastor and his wife.
Okay.
They didn't expose him. But what they did do was they sat him down for a period of time, like let's say a month or two, and so he didn't lead any prayer. He didn't, do like communion.
They slapped him on the wrist.
Yeah, essentially what they did was they told him that you need to fast and you need to pray it away. And so for me as a child, I will be honest, it really
messes your view of church up.
Yeah. My relationship with God was really tainted for a long period of time because I couldn't separate the two. I kept being like, if it's a God, why would God allow this?
Right.
If it's a God, why would God continue to allow him to be who he is if it's a God? But then I had to realize that these men, like he said, they put their pants on one leg at a time like we all do.
You blame God for the mistake the church made.
Exactly. Or you blame God for a shortcoming in a person's life. Yeah. That's his sin.
Right.
That's not God's sin.
Right.
And so I still struggle with that because when you look at how many pastors are falling to infidelity, and you look at how many pastors are glorifying the calling with, okay, I got a Bentley and I got a plane, but they're flawed. People are hungry. I have an issue with that. And so that's just my personal feeling with that piece. When you have a man in your church where you know he has a strong hold on his life and he could be into pedophilia or he could have infidelity issues, what do you do with that?
The church is willing to overlook. Just even society, R. Kelly is the case. We were overlooking his
the fact that he married a 14-year-old.
We were looking
to overlook that. That was
his talent allowed America to oversee his sickness.
So then this is my issue with R. Kelly. When he came out with the Aaliyah piece years ago, I stopped listening to him then. But maybe that's because I was a survivor and I understood.
You knew.
So now that people are outraged by R. Kelly, I'm like, but y'all just catching up because I've been outraged. Every time the Usher song and the compilation come on, I'm like, and I love that song, but I'm like, it got to go off immediately.
All of it.
I don't want any dealing because all of my family still deals with the pedophile. They're still going to get their hair cut because they're getting it cut for free. No morals, no standards, and no values. Absolutely not.
No loyalty.
No loyalty. But beyond that, for me, it's like, I was a kid, I was 9, I wasn't grown. So, but a lot of black families feel like that was then and this is now. Bullshit.
Yeah.
He is still, you can stop drinking, you can stop smoking, you can stop a lot of things, but you never stop being a sex offender.
Yeah. Right.
When it comes to children, that is who you are. It never stops.
So, and I'm going to touch on this real quick because this is new. Let me turn this camera around just in case you know he's a creeping watching me. Let me tell y'all what happened. Yesterday, my daughter sent me a message.
Lord, yes.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm getting, okay. All right. And this one too. Okay. Yesterday, my daughter sends me a message. I'm glad me and my daughter have the relationship that we have. We are like this. She does not cross that respect line because she know I turn into mama. I don't stop being mama, but that's me. That's mine. Sent me the message that she was on Twitter. A grown old man, profile pic and everything, trying to be her sugar daddy, this, that, and the other. Gave her a number to call. A phone number.
To call.
So she sends it to me. Ma, call him and go off. Think I didn't?
He answered the phone?
He did not answer the phone. I had my cousins call. I called. Whoever was on that, they were like, I'm calling too. Didn't answer, didn't call, but what he did though, I texted him. Hello. I'm like, hey, hi. Oh, hi. No. I cussed this man out. Since then, because everyone knows what happened, that was it. I just stay out of young girls' DM. I'll send you to hell for I just went. I went back, I was like, hold on. Okay, so I reported to Twitter.
must
Twitter took
reporting
off.
him.
Twitter took it off.
Yes.
But he was on Instagram. When I went to the Instagram page, all the suggestions were little girls.
Oh my God.
I'm not even done.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm not even done.
Oh yeah. So,
I'm not even done.
Who did you call, Shannon?
Last night,
You better call 7 on your side or somebody.
The police.
I called.
I'm never tell you.
Okay.
I called the police. I let them know exactly what happened. Will Malaysia's 18. Nothing they could do. Let me tell you something.
Well, she's 18. Something she can do. That's harassment. That's something.
But she's
It gotta
a
be
little
something.
girl to
18.
report a pedophile.
Yes.
No matter
I'm
what.
calling to report a pedophile.
No matter how old my child
Okay,
is.
but wait, the piece that I'm about to say, and she's on my live.
That's
I had someone follow that Instagram. Okay, when he originally accepted the Instagram, it was an old white man looking for sugar. He wanted to be a sugar
babies,
daddy.
yeah, sugar
looking
babies.
for sugar babies.
mamas.
Yeah.
Sugar
Let me
babies,
tell you
yeah.
what this man did after he got that text from me. He went on that Instagram. He took those pictures down. He replaced those pictures with a black woman, a black family, a black boy. Yeah, I got it. I got the screenshot sent to me.
So now he's a different
So
identity.
now he's changed his
But
same
tell everybody what the
Instagram.
police said about.
Same Instagram. Oh, I went off on the police. I cussed the police officer out. Eventually I was like, look, you must not have no kids. I want to speak to someone that has a child or someone over you. I'm tired of you.
She was like, "There's nothing we can do."
It's nothing that we can do. I'm tired of you. It's nothing you can do, but it's something that somebody can do.
But
And
that's
I want
always
to
after
They
the
told me
fact.
that the first time I called to report my mother's husband when I was 25. So the first time I called to report, they told me that the statute of limitations had run out. So that was why I was like, okay, well, there's nothing that I can do. So then when I went back to therapy again, my therapist was like, no, we need to report. And I was like, for what? The statute of limitations? She was like, there's no statute of limitations. So when I called back that time, I got the wonderful officer, Stephen Price.
Amen.
Send me his number.
Amen. Thank you, Stephen.
Amazing.
Wait, so the police department told you that there
Statute of
was a
limitations.
statute of
Yes,
limitations?
the first time I called, they told me that it was a statute of limitations. The second time I went, this was about 5 years later. The second time I went, and they told me that I could give my story, and
Yeah,
I
there's
thought,
no statute of limitations.
yeah, there is
There's
no statute of limitations for child abuse. No.
Let me ask y'all a question. How many of y'all believe that justice bring healing?
No, I don't believe that.
That justice brings healing.
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen
I
to
do.
yourself. and
You
ask
have to be a victim
Do you
to
believe that
answer that
justice
question.
brings healing?
I do.
Honestly, you have to be a victim.
Listen to. Ask you a question. Do you believe that justice brings healing?
No, I don't.
So how do you get your healing?
For me, you're asking me.
I'm asking anybody.
Okay, I get my healing from prayer, from
So
God.
once the person who does what they do to you go to jail, how do you get your healing? Once you get Bill Cosby 7 years, how do you get your healing?
I'm about to say,
Once you get R. Kelly, listen, I'm just saying, listen to the question. Once the person you get 7 years, how do you get your healing?
I don't know.
I think you
Once
have to
the
get it
person
from-
that has been molested, their abuser goes to prison, but they in turn molest somebody else. How does all that healing take place?
Right.
You gonna put them all in prison?
That's why.
You go to prison and molest somebody else?
No, I don't think that happens in prison.
Yes, I was in prison for 7 years.
I don't know. I think healing would
I was in prison for eight years.
Can I finish? Can I
Healing would
finish?
come
8 years.
from-
People get raped in prison every time.
Can I finish?
8 years.
Can I
Yeah.
finish? I'm not saying that they don't get molested like that in prison. What I'm saying is when they go to prison and they get raped, I'm not looking at that as them being molested.
What's the
I'm
difference?
looking at that as that karma. Cause guess what? If you
It
hadn't
depends
done
on-
if you hadn't
That's
done
not
what
karma.
you did,
That's
you
not karma.
wouldn't be going what you're going
Shannon,
through.
the
I
only
think
reason
there
why I
has to
can't
come
agree
a
with you
peace
right
within
now.
yourself.
Shit,
You
you got
have to deal with that within yourself
I
too.
stopped in to see
You
one
go to
of my
jail for
old
messing up your
clients.
taxes and you get raped. That's karma.
Yes.
Listen,
I didn't
no,
say that.
Listen,
I said
You said
if
that's their
Bill
karma.
Cosby, if Bill Cosby,
No, I
gets-
said you go to jail
No.
for misusing your taxes, and you get molested
Okay,
or
well,
raped.
all that
That's
is-
karma.
how do you-
my
how do you
example is
suggest you
different.
find
I'm saying if you out here
that
messing with little
justice?
girls and you go to jail and you get raped,
Right.
that's your karma.
Okay,
that's
I
what
just-
I'm saying.
I just left
Because
a
you
woman's
wouldn't
house
be
right
there.
now.
Hold on, you wouldn't be there if you hadn't done the crime. That's what I'm saying. So guess what?
Listen,
if you never touched that little girl, you wouldn't be getting your ass raped in jail.
Hold on. Listen, I apologize for all those who know Mr. Bowden, but Trayon White is working with one of my clients' son. And this little boy got accused of molesting a little girl. He didn't do, he's a virgin, okay? He got mental issues. He didn't do it. The mother liked him. And he turned the mother down. When he turned the mother down, she called the police. There's no proof. There's no evidence. We're going to court.
This is
said that he touched her daughter.
But he's never been alone with her daughter, okay? So that's the problem. Now, this is the thing. Because he didn't know what he was signing, when they came and they picked him up off the streets, he was walking down the street and somebody said, that's him. This little boy over to jail right now getting raped, okay? His mother crying every night because her son was a virgin when he went into jail and leaving out of jail not a virgin. He's never committed a crime. He didn't know what he was signing when he told them.
How old is he?
19.
19. I'm talking about Bill Cosby.
No, but you listen. His crime is being a pedophile.
Right.
He's never been found guilty. He's sitting over the jail waiting. People got word that was what he was in there for. There's no
he was accused.
He was
That's
accused.
all you need to be is
so now,
not convicted.
So that's why I say I can't agree with the whole. First of all, I don't think nobody.
Why is he over to jail, but yours is running free?
Oh, because in the state of Maryland,
DC in Maryland.
if your crime, he has a felony, but if he hadn't committed another felony since 1980, so he hadn't committed any more crimes. So essentially,
for good behavior.
Yes. For good behavior.
So only because he only ruined your life, therefore he gets to walk.
But he was even though
but he didn't ruin nobody else's.
Right.
So why? Okay, so let's go back to R. Kelly. He got a cult.
Let's take it a step further. So not only yes, he got convicted, but now in the state of Maryland, I don't think people know this, and so I want to be the voice for victims in this whole Me Too movement, so that they understand when you're going for it and you're trying to get justice for yourself, if you are not careful, the state's attorney will sell you that, with the Me Too movement, you can get justice. Yes, you can get justice in certain instances. However, if your crime in certain states took place before the sexual offender registry came about,
which was when?
1993 or 94.
Okay, so they changed it again.
So then why is Bill Cosby in jail again?
Not every state does it.
Not every state, different
states. Every state is different. State laws vary on certain criminal acts.
That's why basically is in jail, because he was trying to buy NBC. This ain't got nothing to do
so
with
not
no
every
young
state
girls.
does it. So you have to make sure that you are read on and you know your rights. Because if you don't, you'll be like me, essentially, where he'll be a sex offender on paper, but the land won't know that he's essentially a sex offender. So his picture won't be up there, but if you look up his name,
it'll pop.
He is a sex offender.
So I can move next door to him
and will
with
not
me and
know.
my kids, and I won't get that alert to my phone.
Ma'am, you will not know.
What's his name again?
Don't turn that phone around. But it's scary because had I not seen Tiffany's story, my daughter used to go to that same shop, to that same person. Had I not seen that. And it was shocking because to me it was just like, I'm reading your story, but I take my child to this man every week and she go get her hair cut. And I never see this person. I see this kind of person that we buy gifts for when birthdays come for him. When Father's Day come, we take balloons and stuff.
So you were fooled also.
We that's just a nice person I am. You doing my daughter's haircut. Anybody who I've ever been to who has ever cut my daughter's hair, I've always, holidays and stuff come around, I just show my appreciation because you do a nice service for my daughter. I do it for the person who did my hair in the salon. You know what I'm saying? But again, like I said, this person was always speaking to my kids, giving my kids candy. Sometimes we wouldn't even get charged for haircuts. You know, giving my kids money.
But that's how they disarm you. That's how they disarm you.
This, that, and the third.
You're gonna have your guard up.
It sent a chill down my body to just be looking and just like, you got to be
what?
kidding me.
What did Andrea Kelly? She said, R. Kelly was so nice, and then all of a sudden that other person just crept
But
in.
see, she's not credible.
I'm not, but what she said was credible because that is the mechanism that they use. That is the MO. That's a method of operation. They are nice. They charm you. They let you know that they support. Yeah, your kid's gonna be fine. No, I'm here. You go be nice, and that disarms you as a parent because you're gonna go back for that free haircut. You're gonna go back for that. No, I'm just saying, but normal. That's what they use.
I don't know how people deal with pain, but let me tell you something, because I cannot say that. Like I said, I can't relate to this. But if it did, and I know me, and I know my anger, and I know my attitude, and I know my stubbornness and my pride, I'm not about to be sitting in nobody's car singing to this man's song.
Right.
Happy feeling, whatever, with happy people.
And that's what I asked her about the triggers. Shouldn't his voice trigger something in you? Shouldn't his music trigger something?
Wait.
Say it again.
You know why?
His sales dropped up 80.
Went up, yes.
Because a lot of people ain't even know who he was.
No, it's not even
sold
that.
out the club last.
People want to hear the lyrics instead of Googling.
The club was sold out Tuesday for his 52nd birthday. He popped
still
up.
has
They didn't
supporters.
even know he was coming. But once everybody learned, it was 80% female.
But after the Lifetime special, people wanted to hear the lyrics instead of looking it up on Google.
Yes, they was.
It's
It was
right
all
here.
on
It's
their
on
line.
Facebook.
Take me. One lady was in his face like this, like, get the cuffs. I will go
Just
willingly.
sick.
Yes.
All
So that's what I'm
$4.
saying.
But
All $4.
with him, it goes back to him being when he was 6 with his sister.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
7.
And
yes,
remember when his brother mentioned that it happened to him?
Yeah.
Remember, I think, not saying he right, but
He was a victim.
when he told, he was a victim, but remember when his brother said, I told my brother, he said that didn't happen? That was his suppression. When he suppressed it down, and that ain't happened. You just let it be. That ain't happened. That was him where he had blocked it out, telling him you need to block it out as well.
Right. This went on in our family generations. I mean, once I came out, it was so many women that came forward
the family.
and was like, if I would have came forward, you wouldn't have been victimized.
Right.
It was
Right.
so many older women that came forward and was like, it happened to me. He did it to me, or his brother did it to me, or his father did it to me. This has happened generations, and I was the only person who had the strength to stand, because I felt like if I don't stand, it's going to continue to go on. I have a niece, and so I don't want my niece, or I don't want my nephew, I don't want any child where I have the strength in my body to stand. I don't want those children to go through what I went through.
Okay.
Right. But then again, now to bring it all back to surface, everybody and their mama knew about the 12-year-old girl that he peed on. They knew about Aaliyah. And these parents still took their kid to this studio to record with him. And you left your child. Why would you leave your child? Better yet, take them there. Why would you leave your child there at that time of night with this man that had
wants
these
to go to an R.
accusations?
Kelly show. Anyway, I'm sorry.
And take your daughter.
And
Can
take
you see
your
you taking your
17-year-old
daughter?
You
to
know
R. Kelly
that's his
show?
age range. But now he got hip since that case, because now he messing with 18-year-olds who are legal in the sense that.
But at the same time, I've been researching this all
saying.
day. Mr. Savage had a deal with Robert.
Well, a lot of people did. He had people working with him to cover
now,
that up.
But now
to go
I'm
get
saying,
these
but
girls.
all that he's doing now is some stuff. To the point where he got Ashanti, he's feeding her lines. If you watch the video, you know how they do the microphone and she can hear what he's saying. He's telling her exactly what to say to the press. You can see his lips moving and her lips saying the same thing.
Wait a minute. What I noticed was, and I don't know, when they were in Miami, I think that might be his watchdog. Because when they were in Miami with that other girl, remember? Either them two are together or something.
Well, you know they say he is bisexual.
Who is?
R. Kelly. Him and Bubba.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bubba is his lover.
I've heard that too.
Who was Bubba?
Who is Bubba?
Bubba is his lover.
I sent you the link.
He's a runner.
Yeah. Ruby Chris.
Okay.
Ruby Chris. Go to Instagram, Ruby Chris.
Okay. We have been joined by Keita Host. Keita Host, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So I want to ask this as far as the churches go. Has there ever been a situation where there was a runner?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
In the churches?
Mm-hmm.
So it's been more than just one pastor.
Define runner.
I guess it's
wingman. Go get him for me.
Yeah. The wingman.
Because you have women in the
they
church
call them armor bearers.
who entertain a Jezebel.
She called them armor.
You have women in
That's
the
what
church
they
who
call them.
entertain and exercise a Jezebel spirit in the church.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just within the Christianity focus. It's in Baptist. It's in all of them, even non-denominationals. But you also have the adjutants or the armor bearers who are the wingmen who surface and connects to that to keep the reputation and the integrity of the clergy member, the pastor, the bishop, or whoever is the top pillar of that particular church, or if there's a panel of exhorters. So you have people who run and wing it. I've seen it. It has nothing to do with who they are in Christ or whomever they serve. It's just what they're battling. It's just what they're battling, because we're all in different stages of our deliverance.
Well, if they have those people involved, are they really battling it or trying to hide it?
Here's the thing. No, it's not. They're not hiding it.
Or trying to keep it under wraps to a degree.
Technically, it's not a secret when it's shared amongst the people who know.
And the people in the church.
It's
certain people.
No, the people.
But I mean, then you have to determine what is considered a secret and what is not, because if it's a secret, nobody knows, right? But if there are people who are privileged to this information and it's into this particular lane,
so privileged information, basically.
I mean, yeah, because what you do in your house, do you expose?
No. Well,
I mean,
some things are talked about in the church.
We don't have nothing to
say. So basically, certain things are talked about in the church meeting and some things are not.
Well, ask me what's the questions?
I'm gonna ask you a question, Pastor Q. Have you experienced this in any churches that you have, either belonged to, or have you left the church because of this and said nothing? Have you knew about it and said nothing? I mean, I'm just nosy.
I mean, I don't know really to point it out. I mean, I know you got pastors that do the same thing. You got pastors that sleep with men, pastors sleep with women. So, I mean, what go in the world go on in the church? You know what I'm saying? I don't know why people think it don't, but let me say this from a pastoral standpoint. You know what I'm saying? This is my heart is different, so understand my lingo when I talk is that a person who is a pedophile or someone who has sexually assaulted someone has been sexually assaulted. In this case, is that in communities, black communities, whatever like that, once you have been molested, if you don't get help for that molestation, then you can end up molesting somebody else.
It's a seed.
I'm not saying that it's right, but understand, like going back to the R. Kelly situation, is that a lot of us are a product of what has happened to us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So my thing is that, at the end of the day, we may think that, hey, molestation is the top sin, the felony of them all. But at the end of the day, that person still needs some type of help. You know what I'm saying? It's a hurt person that's hurting other people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so at the end of the day, I mean, a lot of people have been told to, that it happens to them in their families. They've been telling them to leave it alone because it can disrupt the whole family. If your mom's brother did that to you, it's like, don't say anything about it. It'll go away. But you know what? It doesn't go away. And the thing about it is that it deals with you in your personal life. It could change which way you decide to go, or it could have you harbor certain feelings. At the end of the day, my whole thing is that at the end of the day is that no matter how many people R. Kelly has molested or what he's done that to, even if he goes to prison, they're still going to live with that abuse in their lives.
Yeah, because he's not going to get no help. He's going to go to jail, but he won't get no help.
Even if you go to prison,
you're not going to get help for it.
That's what I was saying. Does justice bring healing? It doesn't, because you know what though? At the end of the day, what we have found out is that the whole world is mad at one man when they're just as guilty as that man. But no, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
No, continue.
No, I'm done.
So prior to this whole Surviving R. Kelly docuseries coming out, I don't know if you all followed since March of earlier this year. All of these women decided to come out. It technically wasn't a cult.
Well, that's what they call it.
Because if you all saw these women took lie detector tests when they did these private interviews with like Tasha K.
Really?
Yes, they did. There was several interviews that came out. All these women who came in and they lied about their ages, and they didn't know. And I'm not saying that it makes it okay. So let's just say
I was going to touch on that.
Let's just put this as, let's start from, you're not guilty from everything that happened prior to this, right? Because he wasn't found guilty. Let's just clean slate this man in our mind, right? All of these women who have done interviews prior to what we have seen together. Now, mind you, because I'm a fan of R. Kelly's music, not his actions, not his private life. I'm a fan of his music.
How you separate the two?
Easy.
No,
like here's I do because wait a
that's-
minute. I separate the two because even though I listen to secular music and stuff like that, I don't do drugs and stuff like that. I don't pop mollies and do all these things. I separate the music from the artist. I don't entertain and indulge in the things that they do, and his music doesn't speak about pedophilia.
Oh, wait a minute.
How do you say that?
Because his music. But wait a minute. Let me say.
Oh shit. Music.
No. Basically, when you bought a CD, when you downloaded his stream, you funded his private activity by purchasing.
Well, first of all, I bought these CDs a long time ago.
He was doing it a long time ago.
It matters, but let's just say, a man is in Christ. He's a new creature, clean slate, right? Let's just go there. He's
I'm
a
just
clean
thinking by
slate.
you supporting his music, you're actually putting money in his pocket to fund
slate, that means he would have to
what
come
he's
forward.
doing.
Let me say this. This man got this $17 17 years ago.
Oh, I'm not saying.
So let me say, but
what I'm saying is, how do you say?
And you didn't spend that $17 saying, "Here, I support you with pedophilia."
Yeah,
no,
it
you
wasn't
like the
like
song.
that.
I'm just saying, you're still a fan. You said you're R. Kelly fan now.
Of his music.
Oh, yeah.
It's a difference.
I don't know how you separate the two.
But you know what? It's in growth. It's in growth. Because at the end of the day, just as, and I hate to bring religion into this because I am saved. But what I'm gonna say this is, and it's no hate, but however, in a spiritual realm, you know how to separate the two. The person that you're dealing with and the battles that they have in their own barriers. I'm also a case manager. Dealing with the barriers that a person is dealing with and dealing with what's in front of you. I separate the two.
I guess I see it different because I live.
It's perspective.
Yes.
And listen,
but
you can't. But
I'm a survivor.
you're a survivor.
So ain't no way I could say
you're a survivor to whatever happened with that one person, right?
No, I'm a survivor and I speak for many. I don't speak just for myself. I speak for many, the voiceless.
I meant the person who you become victimized to.
Oh, yes.
But at the end of the day, you survived and your healing process begins. And it's tears to your healing, correct?
Yes and no, because at the end of the day, I'm not attacking you, but I say somebody like you who would say, okay, I support an offender.
Because when I listen to R. Kelly's music, I don't see R. Kelly. I see the person I'm attracted to.
Then that goes for me.
My imagination goes to somebody totally different.
And I can't even be attracted to somebody who is attracted to a child.
Okay, so no. What I'm saying
She's not envisioning R. Kelly singing this song to a little girl. She's envisioning the person she's with.
I understand.
And the music is just in the background. So basically,
but I can't even separate that.
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, my offender is a barber, and there's plenty of people who knows what he did and still go get their hair cut for free, even though they know that he's a sex offender.
So let me ask you a question. Have you confronted your offender?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and I know y'all probably already touched on that.
Yeah.
But has your offender offered an apology?
No, he doesn't think he's wrong.
My offender he had to go to court and all of that.
Yeah.
I had to wear a wire.
I don't want to tamper any
No, it's
rules.
okay. You can look at my story on Speak, Survive, and Thrive.
Yeah.
You could get my whole story.
But the only thing about it is because, like I said, I'm not into his life. Yes, with these particular women, right? I can't speak on what he wasn't found guilty for. And I'm not saying that I disconnect myself from what happened in the past. Right. It's one of the things that's channeled in the back of your mind. Now, mind you, all of us in this room have children. Well, I don't, but may have children who you all know. If you feel a certain way about a person, you don't bring them into a vulnerable or sensitive area, regardless of what. Like, if I know that you're a thief, I wouldn't leave my person here around you. It's like certain things. I'm not going to treat you like a thief, but I'm just going to take precautions.
But wait a minute, right? Now let's take it a step
now,
further.
given the fact, let me fast forward back to my last point. These women who had these interviews prior to this docuseries, because mind you, everybody's channeling on the docuseries. They had interviews before. Get your YouTube up. type these names in.
So these stories
These
are already
girls,
out.
they lied about their age. It's coming out about these parents, about how they lied about
all of them.
not knowing them, and they had cookouts and stuff like that. Half of them was in the video for the backyard party, the Black Panties album, and they were a part of that. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay,
And
but
a lot of these,
does the fact that they
but another
lied
thing-
take anything away from the fact that he was the person that he did that?
But these women brought each other. But here's the thing: when you look at, I want for you to do a little bit more research on this particular topic for the docuseries.
I got you.
Not the Aaliyah being underage when he married her, not the 12-year-old PP girl, because she said
No, I'm not
that
even.
she
I'm looking
was-
at
that it wasn't her.
I'm looking at the women
So
that you're saying
mind
that
you-
are old enough and they lied, or they lied about
But
their age.
let me tell you
yes.
this: these women came together. They knew each other before.
They met on MySpace.
They met on MySpace, yes, and they had what you call a concert club, right?
Oh yeah, it was like
They were super fans.
They were super fans.
yeah,
Just like the young lady who wrote the book. When they did her personal interview, she did an interview back in I want to say April. Her payment stopped, like the $5,000 a month or whatever. Her payment stopped 3 months before she decided to come out. But she told them, oh, I knew 3 months ago I was going to come forth with my story, but you waited for the last payment to hit.
That's what
you understand
I
what I'm
was
saying?
saying.
And then it's like you were up there. How does your mother not
Pandora,
know?
that's what
How
we're
did you get
talking
these
about.
pictures?
That's what we're
How
talking
did you
about.
get these
That's the
pictures
parents to be held
in
down.
front of
That's
this
what we're
man
talking
at the
about.
courthouse? Red wig don't look nothing like the way she looks, more like she does today than she does a 14-year-old back
But there were
then.
payments.
But listen, no.
Every
Before,
day,
Why
she
were
knew
there
him.
payments
Wait,
initially?
Where
What were you
your
trying to
mouth?
pay to keep quiet?
Here's the, I mean, you protecting your integrity. You're at the peak of your career.
That's
like, let's just
why
be
I
real
said
here.
lock 'em all
It's
up.
one
If
of
you
them-
didn't do nothing wrong,
Lock up all
regardless.
But here's the thing. She lied about her age, and then said that when they was about to have sex, that's when
what
she
she
came
told him
clean about
what
it.
age she was.
At that point, you don't know what part they've already
Undid.
did.
Right.
The penetration might not have come. The oral could have already
I
stimulated.
mean, nobody was there.
Nobody was there, but
I
we're
get
going off
that,
of the
but I'm just
stories,
saying.
right? But based off of these testimonies, they're contradicting themselves. And secondly, where are all the statutory rape charges coming in at from these
Right.
parents?
You can go to Lifetime, but you can't go down here and file papers.
I wish that I was working with the
I think the
paralegals
parents got
that's on
paid.
his
But
case.
once you take,
when it
see,
comes
what
to
the thing-
this.
he was taking them shopping. He was buying them cars. Once you accept money, your testimony is done. So there's really nothing you can say. Oh,
It is done. Once you accept money, your
your
testimony
credibility is
is
shot
done.
because now you've accepted a gift, money, whatever. So where all the statutory
But at
rape
the
claims?
same token,
They're
how
at
do
the
we know
Toyota
that was a
dealership.
payoff?
You
That
know?
could have been a severance of royalty as a kept woman. It's a difference because I see it now. I even see it in Go-Go. You understand what I'm saying?
Now,
I'm gonna go ahead back.
Wait, since you brought that up,
I will bring it up.
Since you brought that up, Pandora, I'm going to
Yes.
ask you to switch out with Bang real quick.
No, I want it on
You want me to? No. You know what?
This one.
You want me to? Y'all
on
want
this
me?
one.
Okay, we about to get into it.
Hey, come on, bro.
We about to get into
But who are you to defend him?
We about to get into
I want to defend him. I
Was you in that bedroom?
It doesn't matter.
How
I
can
know
you
the person
defend
he is.
I know somebody can say they know the person R. Kelly is.
Okay. Okay,
But
so
come on,
let
now.
me introduce this subject. Okay, so since the R. Kelly docuseries aired, a lot of people have come out and has named a very big go-go artist, TCB's manager, Bounce B.
He wasn't their manager.
He wasn't, who was he?
Ben was the manager. He was the lead talker.
Girl, you better get it. I don't know this. Okay, sit down. I'm sorry, but I my favorite band is R.E. and what? I don't know about. I can't tell you nothing else.
Yep.
But I am familiar with. Are we going to say his name or?
Say it, Polo. People already put it out there.
Okay.
So you ain't saying nothing that nobody else ain't saying.
Polo was said to be some notorious pedophile. I don't know. I can't.
And that's my point.
So
He's
here we
not
go.
the only one.
Here
It's
we go.
several in Go-Go.
Exactly. It's
It's
definitely several in
Go-Go.
Go-Go, but I'm
Let me ask you
my man.
this: How well did you know Polo for you to say that this didn't happen?
We chopped it up every day. I know the type of person he is. I know his family. I know his mother. I know the whole band. I've been around the whole band ever since they started. from Surgical all the way to 642. We had the barbershop across the street from the 7-Eleven by 7th Taylor.
Okay, did you meet any of his girls or anyone?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I knew him.
You knew him too?
They were at the all ages party. That's what they
Exactly,
did.
yeah.
They started
she
at the CFE.
She right.
I was at the CFE with them.
Me
on
too.
The stage. Like,
right.
640 South Beach.
Now, how old were you?
You know they had it for
I
the.
was 16. I don't have a go-go body count, but I was 16.
Okay. I don't mean
Look, she hold on, look like
on my life.
On her.
Right.
On my life.
Right.
In real life.
In real life, ain't none of y'all touch me.
Yeah.
Underage, of age.
Wait. Oh God. All right. Okay, so we're gonna get on this because we don't have that much time, but I think this is gonna be like really big. Okay.
I have to do a spin-off.
Yeah, yes. So bam, for one, I wanna know, raw emotion, how did you feel when you saw that?
I feel disgusted. It was my man. I mean, I'm not even disgusted about people saying it. I'm disgusted. You wait to bring this up when this man is not here.
Thank you.
This man is dead and
That's
gone.
my thing. That's why
I'm
I sat
disgusted
back.
about. Don't try to tarnish his legacy when he dead and gone. If y'all felt that type of way, niggas should said that years ago.
Are these guys? I mean, so are these females saying it? Are these females saying it? But I mean,
it was a guy that's saying it. After R. Kelly come out, a guy, the screenshot that you sent me, it said, "Oh, people don't know Polo TCB was the biggest pedophile."
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah.
And then someone commented about Foots. I think
he dead and gone.
It's like
from RE to RE drama.
If Go-Go had to do a background check based on them registered sex offenders and unregistered,
a lot of them would be on there.
How many bands do you think it would actually be out here if there were a sex registry? And I know at least 40 band members.
Exactly.
That are registered sex offenders,
Yes.
regardless of what the story is. If you, because you don't, how many of y'all actually know government names of your band members?
I do.
No. You know what I mean though.
But yeah,
if you don't know them. How
if you
many
don't
y'all
know them,
actually
you're not going to know
right?
their full government.
But all you gotta do, NCIC, type it up.
Type it up.
Look it up.
NCIC check, yeah.
Do an NCIC, type it up, look it up, because you don't know who you standing next to left and right.
Right.
On the stage, you gotta protect yourself as a woman.
Right.
You know, when you're like a woman to go and you have to go in there and be within costume.
Right.
That's what I call it.
Yeah.
Within costume, you don't know who you're around, who's really walking you to your car to see if you're safe, and you know who's watching you by the bathrooms and who's doing this. And
But
that.
see, you speaking on something that went on in our era that don't go on now. Them girls all with it.
It's
Whatever
still
happens,
going though.
It's still going.
It's still groupies.
No, when I say that, like I remember going to the Go-Go and niggas would walk me to my car. They made sure I got there. Now ain't nobody doing that.
They don't do
Them dudes ain't doing that nowadays.
They putting nails in your tire, waiting for a slow leak,
so that they can be
catch
there
you
to
on
get
the-
it.
Yep, that's how they do.
Putting nails like right by. It's
Hey,
a lot
listen.
going on.
It's a setup plan.
It's a setup plan.
The setup
Hey,
plan.
listen, man.
I didn't even
like
know
she said,
that. Nails and
Listen,
tires.
I'm from 640.
Okay.
The Go-Go is on our same block.
Okay.
The Black Hole is on our same block.
And they
It
used
is
to
an
sneak me
all-age
in.
joint. Never sold liquor, chips and soda, females all age. It never was an ID check. And girls are
and that's
fast.
how a lot of the guys. It ain't the girls are fast. That's how the guys got caught up. Because they figure if you in the club, you should be an age because the door should be checking your ID.
Yeah, but
It wasn't no ID.
It wasn't no ID,
But-
like especially the CFE, right?
Right.
And
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
throwing
I know
nobody
that
under the
for a
bus.
fact.
But after the strippers left, y'all know.
It went down.
It
It
went
went
down.
down.
After
It went
the
down.
strippers left, everybody who was in there could stay for the
JFN,
band. And it was
yeah.
only
The
two
Legend
bands that
too.
played,
Right.
which was what band?
Yeah.
And which was
TCB.
TCB.
I was
And
there
it-
Friday
and it
after
was
the
like
bus show.
kids
Who
in
you
there. And at
telling?
that time,
Look,
I was just
that's-
18. And I'm knowing that
Yeah.
I'm seeing people that ain't supposed to be in here. Then they going to work next door in Bass and Crew.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, it was a lot that you see.
Used to leave.
No,
out
I'm not
every
mad.
and go to
I'm
see
not
us,
mad
to
that
see us.
that people saying this about Polo, which I know the guy that
I
he
didn't say
is.
all.
But I'm mad that you wait till this man is dead in the ground to try to tarnish his legacy. That's
Right.
why I'm mad about
Right,
it.
right.
I'm not mad about. Okay, you said he.
But I think it just
like
came
I said,
up with
nigga, I
the-
was
with the
19 and
subject.
messing with.
It just
Sam
came up with the
16.
subject, man. They
No,
not
but I'm saying they
purposely,
could've said that.
but bam, they didn't purposely do it. It came up with the subject, and they was like, "Well, y'all going on here, but what about here, right here in DC?"
It's a
And
lot to
that's
this
how
day,
they
though.
tell
But it's a
them
lot
a
to this
whole lot.
day, especially at the reunion party that was at the tunnel. It's a lot to this day.
Niggas got
It's
babies
a lot
with
to this
underage
day.
girls. Dog ain't go.
Right.
Niggas
Yes,
got kids. They
yes.
got single mothers.
Pastor
Yes.
Q, how often do you see this? How often do you see young females just, here I am, take me? Because I mean, I know as a pastor, you come
them
across
vulnerable Bible studies, them one-on-one counseling sessions.
I don't like young girls in my congregation.
Okay.
So, I mean, it happens though, but I just don't have a lot of young women in my congregation. I mean, it happens all over the globe. I mean, it happens though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think as a man, you know, I know a lot of men say, "Well, I didn't know she was that old." Well, you might didn't take time to listen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because
I believe it comes out in the conversation. Yeah.
Me as a man, I know the conversation of a 16 or a 17-year. There's certain things I'm gonna say that she's gonna say that I'm just gonna not be, you know, in agreement with. Me being, you know, 40 years old, I'm like, you know, like it's just certain things in conversation. So. If you look at a person, you just see sex. Of course, you don't see age.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
And
so when
the
you
girls
go
these days don't look like
they don't look like
they don't look like they're that age.
Exactly. Yeah.
But we
look
16.
I had to graduate. I did.
You know what?
I look real young.
As bad as it sounds.
Money Exchange and Pearl goes walking
Hey,
down
listen.
23rd Parkway to go to Marlo photos, getting my pictures taken. You can tell me.
But back in the
nothing
days,
at
though,
16.
females, like I said, females wasn't this ratchet and so pressed for sex like back in the days. These women are showing stuff for attention. You could never find that back in the days at the CFE or the Black Hole, the East Side.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You lying. Because I used to go to the Ibex. Maddie and them used to take me to the Ibex as a little girl. Okay? And it's a lot I seen. It's a lot I seen. Okay? It's a lot I seen.
But what he said.
The second floor.
They showed me what not to do. That's why I thank them.
Right.
I thank them. But see, it's a lot of girls out here that see that and they would follow behind that thinking that's what to do. You don't understand how many my friends, when Backyard came out with Spotlight on the butt cheeks, my friends, I was 16. They was trying to get on the stage. Get on the stage. They wanted
Spotlight on. Take it back to Titty Balls with JYB.
But Spotlight came out before. Spotlight came out before Titty Balls though.
I ain't started
No, it didn't. Titty Balls came out. I was still in Florida.
Spotlight came out in 95.
Yeah, I just got here when Spotlight came out.
96. You can't tell me nothing about Go-Go.
Listen, all I'm saying is I just remember how my life was set up.
Ibex days when Junkyard was at the Ibex on Sundays. That's when they first dropped it.
So before you
at the
leave,
Ibex.
I want you to leave with some words of wisdom.
That's where she comes in there, and then we're gonna do a prayer. Cause guess what? We have to anyway.
Yes.
Because we are almost out of here. I'm so mad because it's such a good topic.
Listen, we got.
I'm still live. I'll tag you.
Okay, thank you. All
right, y'all. So yeah, when y'all come back, make sure y'all like, comment,
Can I say something
share.
before y'all go? Rest in peace, Polo, man. Don't try to charge my man Legacy. Rest in peace for us all the Go-Go legends.
Respect the dead.
But it is some.
Respect the dead.
It is some dudes. It's in Go-Go. I'm not gonna name drop that.
That's because you're a creep.
Got baby on me?
No, Domo said he got a lot of play at the Ibex, and I said that's because he a creep.
Okay, inspiration, let's go.
Okay, so I ain't think that I was going to be able to fit this in, so I ain't bring nothing. I'm going to do this off the top of my head. First of all, I want to pray us out. Father God, I thank you. I thank you for allowing those who are strong enough to tell their story to still be here. God, I thank you for the courage that you have given those who want to be a voice for those that are silent. God, I ask that you allow someone to be touched by what we did here today. Let someone be able to reach out and get some help. God, I thank you. Allow us to be on our way home safely because it's dark and you know I can't see. God, but I thank you for every moment, every hour, and every minute. In Jesus' name, amen. Now, I just want to say something about people who survive. There is a hotline that you can, people who are survivors are battling with wanting to get therapy or to have someone just to talk to. You can call the number 1-888-7-WE-HELP, and you can get connected with a core service agency. I'm always there to help. If you follow me on my Instagram, you can always inbox me, and I will direct you to the right resources. I love you all, and y'all join us next week.
And
y'all gonna be back out.
Real quick, give your website.
It's Speak, Survive, and Thrive.
Wait, I gotta write that down.
All right, so that was our show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I see it today.
They be thinking I'm famous. Or I'm on my way. I be walking around stainless. People know my name. They be thinking I'm famous. Yeah. Or I'm on my way. Or I'm on my way. Or I'm on my way. I be walking around stainless. Yeah. People know my name. People know my name. People know my name. Yeah. All these haters want test me, but they soft and won't check me. All these ladies want bless me, dripping sauce like I'm nasty. Blowing gas, smoking heavy, living life with no stressing.